Welcome back. Well, on to some national news then. After meeting Mamata Banerjee and Naveen Patnaik, Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrashekar Rao is now in Delhi to meet the Prime Minister Modi. The Chief Minister is likely to take up several pending issues with the Prime Minister, including the bifurcation of the common Andhra Pradesh-Telangana High Court, as well as national project status for the Kaleshwarai lift irrigation scheme. During his four-state tour, KCR will also be meeting BSP Chief Mayawati and SP Chief Akhilesh Yadav in his effort to forge a federal front of regional parties ahead of the 2019 general elections.
All right, and let's talk cricket. It's the Boxing Day Test match. India lose their first wicket in the form of Hanuma Vihari in the third Test match against Australia. Remember, India handed Mayank Agarwal his Test debut while winning the toss and deciding to bat first. India changed their opening pair for this match with Mayank Agarwal and Hanuma Vihari opening. Remember, Hanuma Vihari took 66 balls, almost 60 balls to get off the mark. He started his innings well, putting pressure on the Australian bowlers by scoring at a good rate. But Australia struck through Pat Cummins, who picked up Vihari's wicket with a bouncer that carried on to the second slip. At lunch, India sit at 57 for the loss of one wicket with Agarwal and Pujara at the crease. The experts would say this is India's session.
Okay, but moving back to the world of economies, as we end the year, it is a good time to take stock of how markets have performed in the last 1 year. Nigel D'Souza is joining us to tell us that. Well, Nigel, the month of December hasn't been great for the US equity, especially with the Dow and S&P seeing a cut of 14%, set for the worst ever December since the Great Depression. But in terms of the entire year, how has that fared for India as well as the global economy?
Well, it's not been very great in the past 1 year or so. If we're looking at the developed markets, they'd have made not much money at all because you had the Dow is down close to around 10% odd, and the other European markets as well. They have been struggling in the past year. But let's look at the emerging markets and let's see where India stands out there. So if we're looking at the emerging markets, the Brazilian index, that's done very well. The Indian markets, well, they're up close to around 1% to around 2%. Today, we're likely to see a bit of a down day, so let's see whether or not we could hold on to those gains. But the Chinese market clearly has been the one that's under pressure. That's lost close to around 20%. If we're looking at these returns, that's in the local currency. So the Indian markets are in rupee terms. But if we're looking at in dollar terms, then in fact, all those indices, they're trading with cuts because the domestic currency has seen a sharp depreciation. The best performing index, though, in the last 1 year has been the technology space in our own markets. The Nifty IT index is up more than 20%, and that's where really all the big money has been made. But you're looking at the headline index, and you're saying, well, we have made some returns. You're looking at the broader markets, in fact, and that's really where the big pain is. Now, in terms of the rupee has moved from around 64 all the way to around 70. So in rupee terms, yes, there is some green in the Sensex, but if we're looking at it in dollar terms, then in fact, taking into account the depreciation, it's down close to around 4% approximately. So that's telling you the FIs are not very happy. But from the broader markets, there's been a lot of pain. So we're seeing the mid-cap and small-cap space down between 14 to around 24% approximately. But let's get going and let's get straight to the stocks then. In terms of the Nifty winners, well, the IT index did well. So out of the top winners, in fact, you'll see most of the stocks that are gaining are from the IT index itself. HUL as well in there with returns of close to around 30% approximately. So there have been some gainers, but there have been plenty of losers as well. Tata Motors in there with a cut of more than 50%. You have some of those metal stocks as well that are under pressure. And even Yes Bank has lost 40% of its market capitalization in the last 1 year or so. Let's get to the broader markets though and tell you which stocks really have eroded wealth big time. PC Jewelers, not made any money out there. You have lost 80% of your market cap, so not great at all. Idea as well has lost close to around 60%. And Jet Airways as well is down more than 65%. Finally, let's wind it down with some winners. I told you that the headline index did well in terms of the IT index. The big IT stocks did well, but NIT as well as make you some money. Mindtree as well as in there with some gains. And from the broader markets, even UBL is up close to around 30% approximately. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Nigel, for that. We will take a short break on that note, come back, and we focus on the cues from the F&O space.